Hey guys, this is James Morgan. My YouTube channel is Captain J Morgan. I'm going to, I'm trying to do a nightly uh, video that sort of just briefly recaps what's happened with AMC during the day, and also provides a little forum on, the what our plan is for, or what the community's plan is for exiting the stock and when it MOASSes. If you've seen some of my past videos, you'll learn how I got into the stock, and also, um, I've told how when this stock ran the last time in June up to about 70 bucks, how I was unprepared for that run, in the sense that I had no plan on how I was going to exit, or even when I would exit, or what I wanted out of the stock, except a lot of money, which we all do. But I think the whole community, it's amazing how the communities come together, and actually how I think smart we all become on stocks, and especially AMC stock and the situation that it's in. So to that end, I'm just going to say I'm trying to keep the video short. If you guys have any comments or want to talk about anything, let me know, and I'll get it out there in the community. Well, just start real quick. Today the stock did pretty good. I woke up this morning, and I got up early, probably about 4:30. I have trouble sleeping half the time, but I woke up early, and I can see the stock trading from about 3 a.m. forward. I can't trade it myself until about 6, because I'm on Ameritrade and they won't let you trade until that time. But excuse me, I always burp on these videos, but it's because as soon as I get in, I grab something to eat, and I'm running. So yeah, I apologize. But I got up about 4:30, checked out the stock, and it was doing well. And by the time I left to head out, it was probably up about 7-8%. I checked on it again mid-morning, and in the first 30 minutes of trading, it had already it had already gone up, or traded about 30 million shares. So that was good. The volume was good. And then I watched it throughout the day. Came down a little bit after hours, but at least the trend is going up, so I think that's good. Okay, just getting into quickly what I think about a strategy for exiting the stock. I think the what's going to either happen is we're going to wake up one morning, or during the day of one day, and this stock is just going to be going straight up. It's going to be MOASSing and skyrocketing. I've said this before. At that time, I'm going to, and just my opinion, but I would already have my plan in place, hopefully, like I didn't and when it went up last time. And then I would get somewhere where I could pay attention just to that stock, either on your phone, in front of your computer. But if you're at work, it's my opinion, I would leave work or go somewhere quiet. If I was at home, I'd do the same thing, because this is important. It's what everyone's been waiting on, and what you guys have earned, and so what we've all earned. And I would get my thoughts together and then implement that plan. Now, plans are like, there's a saying that everyone has a plan until they get hit right in the face, and then the plan changes. But at least you have a plan. Doesn't mean you can't change the plan as the play goes on. You can do, like in football, they do a little audible, so you can have multiple plans. And so my plan is, at least this is the start of my plan here. I thought I'd start forming it while I'm talking. Is is if it is MOASS and then just going straight up in a all out squeeze, is I'm going to have set some, I'm probably going to divide it up into 4 or 5 tranches or brackets is what everyone's saying. And when it hits those brackets, or at least the first few, I'm going to, go ahead and sell. Now, if it's just skyrocketing up or say I wake up or I see it during the day and it's say my first bracket we'll just use this for, these aren't my numbers right here, but let's just say let's say I'm going to sell in 4 tranches and it's 2, 4, 6, 8. If I first see the stock the first time in the day and it's at $300, I'm going to go ahead, and if my first bracket was at $200, I'm going to go ahead and sell, because it will have already passed my first bracket price anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and sell, and then I'm going to watch it real close. And I just think it's real important that we secure, if it's shooting straight up, I think you need to sell some as it goes up, because if it's shooting that fast up, I think it could come down that fast also. And also it's time to secure some profits. Everybody, even psychologically, we've waited now for a year or over a year, some of us, and we need a win. And if it's up there at a decent price and it's hit your first bracket, don't get greedy, because and I don't mean that bad, because I'm sure I could be the same way I was last time. I've said this in other videos. My wife, man, I got a good wife. She had said, "Hey, secure some at 70 last time," and I said, "Okay, babe, I'll think about it." And what I did was, and not only did I not secure any at 70, I bought some more at 68. So I don't know, hindsight's 2020, and she's very good. She hasn't said anything, and she supports me, and it's her money too. But if I'd had a plan, if I would have secured at 70, even if it had gone up to 140, at least I would have secured some at 70, and then look how much better I would be now. So regardless what the plan is, if you guys want to plan on $1 million, plan on it though, but have the plan in place, and then I think it's important when that day comes to get serious about it. I mean, that's a big day. Don't say, "Oh, I'll get to it in an hour," or "I'll check it out this afternoon," and go. You're going to be sick. You're going to be take off work. You'll be sick that day. Let me see. I'm getting some people. I'm sorry, I can't. I have some eye problems, so I'll figure this out better, but I'm always coming right into the screen. I'm here. Robert. Hey, thanks, Robert. Hey, would you, in your opinion, plan to squeeze out and know when the squeeze is, and also to use limit, sell, or market? I thought about the question was, would you do a limit or a market order? And I've thought about this a lot also. It all depends on what's happening that day, but I try not to use a market order because they can see, the powers that be and the market makers and the brokers, they can see, and if they see your market order, they might dip down and get it. Now, saying that, if you can't get in and we're shooting up and you're just, or if it's dropping real quick and you just can't, none of your limit orders are getting in there, you might do a market order. But if you do, just my opinion, I would start off small with that market order just to see, what if they're going to, especially if it's running up and you're trying to get in or sell some, and see what what they give you. So if you were going to sell 1,000 shares, maybe start off with 100 or 50 real quick and see what you get on market order just to be safe. But yeah, that's I've thought about that a lot too. Try I think a limit order first, um, and see what happens. And if it's MOASSing, you should get your limit order filled, especially if it's getting closer, if it's past it, or you're getting close to it. Excuse me. Yeah, I did hear about that, Robert. About the bailout that the Fed did in 2008 and 10 for the past crisis. I would not depend on that this time, although that could happen. But it could happen. But the bailout last time was for the big banks and the big financial institutions. And this bailout, unfortunately, will be more for the hedge funds, but it would be for us too. And so I just don't know if, and I don't know if they have to get that approved. At that time, if you remember, all the politicians were sort of pulling together because they thought, I remember, they thought this was going to be the end of the financial world, and everyone was together. I don't know if that would happen this time. So I wouldn't depend on that. But I would say that if this starts going crazy up, and they're probably working on it now, that there is a plan that they're probably planning for now, or they're trying to figure out a plan. And I know Lou has alluded to this a little bit and I think what he's trying to get across is, and I can't speak for him or anything, don't know him at all. And some of the stuff I think he makes a lot of sense on. Some of the stuff I just, some of, the joking and the rhetoric and stuff, but a lot of the stuff he says is good on fact, on about the play. But I've told people before on this channel that I mediate. I've gone through mediations, and now I'm a mediator for the courts, for some of the county courts here, and I actually the mediations that I went through, and I mediated. I sued back in the financial crisis. I had properties, and they were investment properties. So there's different rules with investment properties compared to if they're your homestead. And I hadn't realized I'd bought investment properties for years. Some of these rules or laws have changed, rules have, but I did not know that they could ask for a buy down, meaning if they're staking it, I can't think, went down a certain percentage, and it was a major percentage, but at that time, everything was getting devalued in half, if not more. And if their asset got depreciated by a certain percent, they could ask for a buy down. Well, I had about 8 or 9 properties at that time, and they were asking for a buy down. I'd always done my business well, I thought, and I wasn't behind on anything. But here I was about to get 7 or 8 properties foreclosed on, and I thought, oh, what the heck do I do? So, so what I'm trying to get at is, I went ahead and I had to sue because I didn't have any other choice, and when we would go to court, it's almost like being an ape now with you guys. Is I know I didn't do anything wrong. I made the right moves, the right plays. I did my business right. Just like we bought the stock, and we bought it for a certain reason, and it was for most of it, it was because of the the short position that everything was in at that time. We bought it last year. It wasn't because of the fundamental financials of the company really at all. Now it could be more because excuse me, because the company, because of the apes and what we did, the company's in a lot better financial position. Although they do still owe a lot of money, but it's not coming due for years. So, doggone it, I was in the right. I was going to not settle for anything less than what I wanted. Why I'm saying this is because that's where we're at now. But the powers that be and the situation, and because it was an emergency, sort of like this is getting now, I think for the SEC and for the stock market, these stocks that are shorted heavy like this, is had to compromise, and um, that's what we did. And now I think after I understood that uh, and went through the process a little bit through the courts, it still came out pretty good for me. Although I had a lot of sweat in it and a lot of a lot of worry and a lot of it was about a year and a half, 2 years of just a mess. But and that's where I think we're at with this play. If the government does have to step in, I think that we will get compensated. And it won't be, everyone, I want 100,000 or I want 1 million. Might go up there by itself, but I think the powers that be will step in before that and work a deal. Now, I don't think they want to, but it might come to that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I might have got off track a little bit there, um, but yeah. Oh, the reason we were talking about that is because the question was he saw where the Fed bailed all the big financial companies out and all Wall Street out with uh, basically trillions of dollars. I don't think that's going to happen this time, but I do think they're behind closed doors right now trying to figure all this out and hoping that this thing will be settled and figured out on just the market will do it itself between the apes and the stock going up, and we'll just settle it ourselves without them having to step in. They might step in to stop to do stops, just like I've heard Lou and other people say, and then they'll be settling while those stops are going on. That's probably that could happen, but regardless, that's where. But I think we need to plan for a straight up MOASS and also if it sort of rinses and repeats, like that's what I call it, like it did this last time when it hit the 70s. And we can talk about that maybe in another. We can talk about that possibly in another video because I'm studying that right now, and I want to get my thoughts together on that. But I definitely want to be ready. If might do another video tonight, but if not, I'll definitely go over that tomorrow, and I'll start answering the questions now that if this stock goes up like it did before and takes a few days to go up, and then it sort of because I remember when it got to the 70s, 60s, and 70s last time, it was about a day that it was trading sideways and going up and down a little bit, and then it started coming down. And I think I will be more prepared, and I hope we all are at that time to be prepared for, like I said, a rinse and repeat, where here we go. We're going to, plateau and then start coming down a little bit and going up and coming down. And I think I can make, we all can make some money just like they are. Every time that stock goes up and down, there's a lot of money being made. And I think this time maybe we can figure out how to get in on that too. But I'm studying that now, learning it myself. And I certainly didn't do it last time. For one, I wanted to hold with the community. And for two, I did not know enough, and I didn't want to screw up my position, and there's tax consequences involved in all that too. But since we're at the beginning of the year, that's good. And since, some of my stock now, I've held it for a year, so that's good, or right at a year. I remember because I bought that first tranche, the end of January. So got to think about that also. All right, let me see. Some other people have asked some questions. Sorry. Do not trust Lou at all. That's not me. That's that's what the guy said here. Well, I had a guy uh, on a live stream. I think it was yesterday or day before, and he said he doesn't trust anyone with captain on, on their name because I have captain, and I was never in the military or anything. My father worked for the military for years, but I wasn't. And I was just doing a play off of the Captain Morgan, and I explained that in the last video. But what I'm getting at is, good advice is good advice, or in bad advice, bad advice. There's if you get past the rhetoric, or the sort of the shtick, and I don't mean that as a degrading him or anything that Lou does. There is some good wisdom in some of the stuff that he says. So take what you think is good, and and use that. Just like hopefully in my videos, there's some stuff you might totally disagree on. You might think that guy don't know what he's talking about. And I am new at the stocks. I'm just giving you my experience that I've had so far while I've been in the markets, and then my experience in business and just life. And I think that's what you have to go on. Just peruse the YouTube channels, get you some news magazines that you can get them online, and just just take it all in as much as you can. And then you evidently got in the stock place, so you're smart enough to do that. A lot of people might not think so. Even people in my family, and they know I'm pretty good at business. And it was like, what? But they're taking a second look at it too, just because someone that they maybe trust or respect got into it. And so just look at that. I mean, you might not trust the man, but there was what was this one dude on there? There was the one channel called and I know everybody I think that's watching this probably knew it. It was Al from Boston, or Al from Boston. And I liked some of what he said, but there was other stuff that he said that was, they get into a lot of personality stuff, or talking in generalities about this guy knew or that guy knew, and it could be true. Who knows? I mean, I've told a few things here of all my life, and you guys don't know if that's true or not. But it doesn't matter if it gets a good point across, and if you're trying to relate, trying to help. So just look at it like that, and maybe take what you can get good out of it. Which, same here, folks. See what else. Am I going to be on stream when this takes effect? Your questions are very good, because it's a lot of the stuff that I've been. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I just ate. Next time I'm not going to eat before I go on. I just started thinking about that, and I think at least for now, my thoughts are now I'm going to be. And the reason for that is, if I can't, well, I want to take the advice that I just gave out. Is if I'm out in the field, I'm in construction, I build homes, I will do everything I can to I will get back to my computer and get my plan in place and get my thoughts together. And because that's the advice I just gave. And I think I will go ahead and go live also. And the reason being is because I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. But I think it's good to have like-minded people around. And you can just turn it on. I remember I did have I actually have a TV right over here, and I was watching YouTube the day it shot up because I wanted to hear different things about it and everything, what was going on, what other people thought. So I think I will live stream that day. At least that's what I'm thinking now. And if anything, it's just having someone that you've have a shared experience with, and that you've been following or been talking with or chatting with there. Even if we don't chat that day or whatever, at least you'll see what other people are doing. And I think that's good support. And it's probably better than having a friend or having someone that doesn't know what you're going through or what you're planning or what you've been through, because it'll be a distraction, or you might get away from your plan. Not that they're bad or anything. It's just, you're doing business that day. I mean, this is money, and this is, you've worked at it, so you got to treat it like that. I think, especially the day that or the few days that it's happening. Jason, thank you for tuning in, Jason. Yeah, it's difficult to know how to trust. That's what I was saying. Use your own, trust yourself. I mean, uh, who knows? You gotta, you want to trust people and you want to believe them, or you want to, but trust and verify, or just trust and then trust yourself, because a lot of what people say is just BS, and I don't mean that they're trying to lie. It's just they're trying to put their best foot forward. I'm sure I've been like that when I'm trying to sell a house, stuff like that. But you can see where people are in life and stuff too. And so I think the you can see what motivates them. So uh, that's all. I mean, that's one thing. I'm not gonna dog Al or anything, but I just never knew why he wouldn't come on. And some people just don't want to be seen on. It took a lot. I don't really, I don't watch any of my videos because I wouldn't make any anymore. Because I don't like watching myself on. But that was one thing. But there's a number of factors that you use to gauge whether you trust somebody or not. So just trust yourself. Uh, you know, um, and that's all I say about that. J Dog. Well, thank you, J Dog. Yeah, go back and look at some of my. Here's one thing. I mean, people had said, I had one guy the other day, first bad comment, but I talked to him a little bit and it was okay I emailed him, but he called me, well, there's a couple of them, there's two. He called me an effing liar. He said, you don't have any stock and you don't have any. And I thought, well, I was going to just forego the comment, but I emailed him and I said, hey, dude, I'm sorry you feel that way, but, if you have any questions, you want to reach out, or go back and look at some of my videos when I first got involved in this. I was going to do just videos on construction, and I bought the stock. And so I thought I'll do some videos on stock, and it shows how I got involved with it. And so, but again, going back on just what I said, would it even, I guess it mattered to people because you don't want to deal with someone you can't trust. But if I didn't have any stock, or even the amount I said, or if I'm giving good advice, good advice. So, but I understand it's hard to trust people. So that's why I like a guy named Meet Kevin on the. If you guys ever do make it in the, or we will. You make money, you want to continue in the stock. I would watch this guy named Meet Kevin. He's got a real good head on his shoulders. He understands the market good. I hope to, depending on what happens, I hope to have a channel that maybe every day I can just talk about financial stuff, because I understand finances pretty well, and I've been in business been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life, and and you measure success many different ways. I work with my family, and I'm not super rich or anything at all, but I like working with my family, and I structure my life to where I like it now. So I think that's success, but everyone's different. So, but we all want a modicum of that, and so hopefully we can make some money on this play here, and then get into whatever we want to get into. If it's anything in construction or flipping homes or remodeling, I hope to help people out there, and then also I'd like to continue hopefully in the markets, because it's just been fascinating for me the last year and a half. In the markets. Let me see this. Excuse me again. Thank you, J Dog. I appreciate it. Says, do fails to deliver clear from the SEC when they're finally filled? I believe they do, but I'll check on that. There was a lady that asked me to check on the channel too, and I did that. Her name was Sebas. So Sebas, if you see this, I did. She tuned in the last couple of days. I don't see her on here now, but next time, or shoot me an email and I can discuss the question or the other channel that you were talking about. I looked in on it today. This Jason asked, do I think that possible outcomes with AMC, the same thing will happen with GME? I don't know, because I don't know that much about GME. Excuse me. But I do hear that GME and AMC are a lot in the same boat as far as the shorting and what's gone on with the how they were just so manipulated and shorted. So I do think that when one goes, they're both gonna sort of go. So I think if you're in either stock, it's they're gonna both go well. But again, I don't know enough about it. So please don't take that as, I mean, do some more due diligence, and because I don't want to lead you wrong or anything. I don't know much about that stock, but they say that it's pretty much in the same position as AMC. So here's Burton here. Common sense investor. Yes, latest video making sense, but let's break. Yeah, Brittany, I was just mentioning you that I did watch the Common Sense Investor video, and I think it was the one you were talking about where he was. In fact, I took a few little notes, and he had a video about the three things: the fear, greed, and the common sense. And his, but he didn't break down numbers that I saw either. And I'm still having a hard time trying to figure out the numbers, because I'm doing as much research as I can. Now I stayed up last night till I could hardly work today. I stayed up to about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then well, no, I stayed up. I'm sorry, stayed up till about 2:30, and then I woke up at 4:30. So that's when some people said, "Man, you always look tired." Well, I have a hard time sleeping. So I think I've figured that I'm going to break down. I'm going to do about 4 different levels or brackets, is what everyone's saying, and I'm not sure what those are yet. I know some people were saying, as soon as it gets past it depends on. To me, it depends on how the stock's running. Meaning, that's why I think I'll have 2 different plans. One, if it's going up at a good steady pace, but it levels out a little bit and then keeps going up, I'm going to learn about trailing stops. I call Ameritrade in the middle of it. That's one thing I was doing last night. I was talking to Ameritrade. That's why I said Ameritrade, Fidelity, they have 24-hour customer service, and I'll talk to them. A good time is at night for me, and it's I can talk to them for quite a while. And I was asking them about trailing stops, and if it's going a little bit slower, I'll probably do trailing stops, meaning as it gets close, I don't want to implement them or put them in until the stock gets close to, like, say my number was $250 for the first one. I might, as it's going up and it gets about to 220, 215, 220, I might put a trailing stop in there, around the 250 mark. So, and if my understanding is, then if it gets close to that and it starts coming down, at least I will have, say it fills it at 230 and I don't get to 250. Well, if it's starting to come down or level out, at least I've secured all that unrealized gain. I've realized it up to that point. Again, I always hate to keep using the example of when it went to 70, but if I'd have had one, say at 70 last time, and say it came in at 65, I would have, I would have had that gain. But again, I've got a guy who's going to. I've built homes for different people that are a lot of professionals, and one is in the stock market, and he's going to sort of get with me, and because I have sink or swim on Ameritrade, but I don't use it very much, and I think I'm going to try to. He's going to teach me how to do that, and with the candles, and I asked him if he could do it. Hopefully, well, I hope it MOASS tomorrow, but if it doesn't, by this weekend, he's going to come over and give me a crash course in it, and he says trailing stops will be very good. And I saw a video, somebody else, I can't remember who did it, but I'll try to remember who it was for tomorrow, and I'll tell you guys. But they were talking about trailing stops on AMC or on these shorted stocks that's a good way, especially if it's just shooting straight up, then it'll just hit your brackets and hit your your levels, and you can just fill your orders. But if it's going up slower, I think that's a good way to secure your gains, and then see what happens. And then if they play this rinse and repeat, oh my goodness, we could. I said it on a stock before. I prefer not to do this, but this could be all of our. We might be in this play for years. Just this will be our job, making money as it goes up and down. If those guys can, why can't we? J Dog says he doesn't. Hey J Dog, it's all relative. I mean, it's good that you have some shares. I wouldn't have had any if my friend didn't call me, and I mean, it was just happenstance that I got into this play. There's a common sense investor latest video making sense. Yeah, that Brittany, we'll try to just like it took me a couple of days to get to watch that common sense investor. I'll really try to put some brackets together, but I feel a responsibility to. I don't want to. I do believe we need some brackets and a plan, but everybody has their own thoughts and their own wants and wishes, and on the numbers. So he put numbers to stuff. It's almost like I get this all the time when building a home. They'll ask me, because I do a lot of new home building, either custom or spec, where you're speculating someone will come and buy the home. They'll always ask, "What's dollar? What's the dollar cost per square foot?" Because that's how they can judge it. 3,000 square foot home, and it's $150. That's $450,000 for a home. But you hate to give them a number because you don't know, what their likes are, what kind of amenities they want in the home, what kind of foundation they want, what type of, you just don't know. So it's hard to put a number to it. And it's the same here. I don't want to put a number and then you guys think, it's just, I think the brackets in planning on, having a couple of different plans, that if it's shooting straight up or if it's slowly going up, and then maybe doing the trailing stop on some of it. And I'll try to get all that more organized. If we might never meet again tomorrow. This thing might be $500 and that's it. Let me see. I've noticed that YouTube are talking about low prices lately for some reason. Well, I can't speak for everybody. Some people say he asks, why is YouTube talking about the low prices for some? I don't know. I think some people are just trying to be conservative, which is good. I do think that a percentage of one of your brackets should be at, not way up there just because you want to secure something. You got to get a win. Just psychologically, you have to have a win, and that actually, in the scheme of things, that might help the whole squeeze too, because even the other side has to have some type of win. It was like I was talking about nobody gets out of this with everything that they want. It's just like doing a mediation, and I do mediations too. So, and I've been in mediations, and like I was saying before, I went into the mediation. I'm not going to settle. I'm going to get what I want. because I thought I was in the right. And the same thing here as this thing starts MOASS, and you know, just have a plan. But if your plan is way up there, great, and hopefully you'll get it. But I think everybody needs a little win. I'm sorry, I was going to get to another one here. Oh, and why the YouTubers are. Some say, I heard today that my friend said, do you think that that's a shill, and that the hedge funds that hired them, stuff like that, or different people that are, again, it's up to you whether you take that advice. I mean, just have a plan in place, because I think this thing is going up, and that's why I think if we have two plans, I just thought about this today. If we all have two plans, meaning one, if it just MOASS is straight up and you have your brackets, and that's real easy. If it hits one, hits one, hits one, and the other one, if it starts, if it goes up, plateaus a little bit, goes up, comes down, goes up. I think that's a plan too, that we need to, figure out how to make money at that. And that's what I'm going to try to learn from my friend, who's going to tell me about those ascending and descending candles, and when you see a trend. And because I think if I'd have known that more, if I'd educated myself when this thing hit 70 before, and you see how it went to 70 and 60 and then 65 and 50 and 40, and I mean, there's money to be made all in those plays right there. And I think we deserve now to make that money, just like these hedge funds and market makers. They're making all that money at that time too. Heck, my brother-in-law, he's made probably, with about $20,000, he's probably made about $50,000 on AMC, just when it goes up and down over the last 6 months. And he's real bright, and he watches, but I'd wonder where he was sometimes when we'd be at work, and he'd be watching that. He's one of those too. He doesn't want to let his money sit overnight, so he would just do it. He would do, I guess that's like day trading or scalping, but he did pretty good at it. And he didn't really believe in the AMC and the ape thing and everything, but now he does more. He respects it more, but he was day trading, and he just started that, and he made some money. So. J-Dog says he really likes TD and Charles Schwab. He's been working with Lupine. And hopefully they are, man. That'd be great if they were working on an NFT. Let's see. Yeah, Sink or Swim said that they would tutor me, but my friend will also. I'll try to get fast on this, because it'll be good, and maybe I can help people on the channel, help myself. So Berkney says, is it smart to sell in the hundreds? I think it's up to. I am going to sell. I believe, I hate even saying this, but I'm going to sell some in the hundreds, a percentage of it, and it's because I owe it to myself, to my family. We got to get a win. I mean, and that's a lot compared to. I know no one paid over 70. I think that's the highest, $77. So if this thing goes to 177 or 277, guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. Take some win. And I know you want to, the hedge funds deserve to lose everything and stuff, but if you take a win at 277 or 377, you're hurting them. I mean, they're taking us some loss, and secure some. At least that's what, as I get older, and I wasn't always like that. And I've learned too. It's not that I'm Mr. Smart. I listen to my wife, and she's never brought it up, that's a good woman, or that's a good spouse. She said, "Hey, secure some at 70. It's her money too. I should have secured some at 70 last year, and instead I bought some more at 68. Yeah. But so I'm going to do it different this time. Yeah, he says, yeah, one of the guys says he was lucky he made his profit from Doge. Good. Yeah. John said, the problem is I have when it spikes and then closes the day, we have to stop and think overnight to sell or hold. Tell you what, if that happens, because I was up, I have a hard time sleeping as it is. But I was up almost all night when that second night that it ran, and it went, I think it closed in the 60s. And then that next morning at 3 o'clock, I saw it up in the 70s. In fact, it got to be close to 77. And remember, I can't trade until 6 a.m. And that's when I had a friend who called. In fact, he was an accountant, and he called and he said, let's, I think this thing's going to run. And I did too. And I thought it was going to run some more. And so that's when I, that's when I bought some more at 68. And then it almost immediately dropped after that started dropping. And that's when Adam Aaron came out and said he was selling the 11 million shares, or going to put them into the market to sell for the company. So you never know. So that's why I'm, maybe secure some. Now, if it was MOASS, I would have secured some, but it was starting to plateau a little bit. And so hopefully we'll all understand the difference. Because what I heard, that if this thing if the computers take control of it, and that's when it just really starts MOASSing and shoots up. The last time I heard, it wasn't, really about the shorts covering that much. It was more about the why it went up, over those 2 or 3 days. It was more like of a gamma squeeze thing, because these I wrote it down here. It said, I saw somebody on the news said it went up to the 70s mainly because the market makers needed to hedge and cover their margins because of the options, and the broker dealers needed to cover because there were so many options out there, and they were a lot of them looked like they were going to be in the money. So I think that's what it was last time. I think this time it's going to be more squeeze type, where it's going to hopefully just shoot up. So, but I think it's good to be prepared in case the other happens. So I'm going to have to go here in a minute. But thank you guys for all your questions. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, John, I didn't finish my thought. Yeah, maybe we'll just come on all night because I probably won't be sleeping either. If this thing closes at like $450 one night and I hadn't sold, or if I still have a good position, I'll probably have sold some by then. But if I have a good position, yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting. Stay up, and it's good to be able to speak with others, or like I was saying previously, it's just good to have support. Yeah, the ghost of Judah tribe says, don't sell that ape short, and don't sell, short low. And I agreed, Judah, to a degree, but and I think we could hold for, and maybe that's going to be the play that happens. Maybe everyone, because it's amazing the resilience of everybody that's holding. Even myself, I was made myself that I didn't sell at 7 or sell some. But if that happens, I just don't see them letting this get, to hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably thousands if everyone keeps holding. But they'll probably have to settle somehow, or something will come in, something will be done, and I just hate to leave it up to out of our hands, because at that time it'll be a national security, because the whole economy's, this could affect the whole economy. And so hopefully they'd come in and settle, almost like a mediation, and we'll get, but that'll probably take time, and or they could just, and I don't want to scare anyone, but maybe they just delist the whole thing, and but I think there'd be so many lawsuits, and it'd be a problem that I think they're going to try to make this work for everybody. And I do think if it starts getting up, 700, 800,000, people are gonna sell. So, and that's why I'm just saying, please don't get caught with nothing. Leave some for the ultimate MOASS, But I just hate that everyone's worked so hard, and by all rights, we deserve it, and we deserve all these guys should be out of business and stuff. They just basically are cheating the whole market. Everybody's pension funds, everybody's are cheating everybody. But it just life doesn't work out always like you want, or like it should, or fair. But I think if we play it right, we can all make some good money, and we use that money to make more money. So. I'm holding for the people who suffered the 2008 crash, for those greedy guys. I was high school. Didn't know what was happening. I lost my uncle because of it. And I went, man, I feel bad. And I'm sorry you lost your uncle because of that. Yeah, 2008 was a very bad time. And I told the story earlier, and I won't get into it again. Maybe watch the video earlier. But I had quite a few properties that I owned as investment, and it wasn't my homestead, so they can treat investment properties a little bit different. And they were trying to foreclose on them, and I had done all the right stuff, so I had to get into lawsuits with and I got in lawsuits with about 5 different banks. It was a mess, but I learned a lot, and that's when I started my first mediations, and I came out okay. But in my mind, I should they should have paid more, and I still think that. But it is what it is, and you just got to fight the good fight, and then know when it's time to move on. But I'm sorry that that happened to your uncle and your family. They bailed out banks a long time ago, back in 2008. Yeah, what's fortunate is I don't think they bail us out, but they bail out, since they bailed out the banks, they might bail out the hedge funds too. But um, they can make rules and stuff that's what I was saying, when they bail them out. Um, Part of that bailing them out might be that, we just get so much, you know, per share. And that might be where the compromise or the mediation or the settlement comes. But that could take months, if not years, to figure all that out if they stop this and don't start it back up. So my point was, by taking a win and taking some off the table at the, and whatever, I don't want to put, you make your number brackets, but make brackets. And if your first bracket it doesn't hit till $1,000, well, at least you're going to take some at $1,000. I'll probably go lower for my first ones, but that's what, we're all different. And so there's no wrong or right. It's just, so that's where it is. Yeah, I don't think they'll delist it either. Ben Son says, I don't think they'll delist it, but there'll be halts. Yeah, I do too. And I think this time, or last time, we didn't understand it as well. We hadn't spent a year of God, we're like experts on this. We have PhDs in AMC stock, and you guys know more than a lot of people. So you educated yourselves, and I have too. And so I think if it does halt this next time, I think we all know that if they have not covered, and we can follow it on YouTube and follow it with the people that you trust and stuff, then the play is still on. It just, the play might go, it'll either keep going on just like it has here, it'll rinse and repeat, or the government will step in and there'll be some type of settlement, or they'll do, excuse me, maybe like Lou says, and they'll, while it's stopping, they'll be settling some transactions, and then they'll, as soon as it starts back up, they'll, start going back again, and they'll buy some, they'll get some stock to cover the synthetics, and then do it again. But you don't know which one it's going to be. So if you can get a win and get some money, before that, maybe that first halt, if that's the way it's going to be, I think that's good for everybody. Just psychologically, it's good. Plus, who knows? You might not. You might need it to hire. You might need it to hire attorneys to go get the rest of it. So. One picture that showed the bankers and hedge funds drinking champagne and throwing at the crowds pissed me off. Yep, I agree. You guys, if you haven't seen the, and this is somebody that now you'll have a connection to it. It's called the Big Short, and it's a movie that was about the 2008 financial crisis and how the housing market, these credit default swaps, and they packaged all these subprime loans together. Man, that's exactly the way it happened, if not worse. That movie is so spot on, and that's what I had to sue the banks for. And they say that the way the markets are now, when you watch that movie, you think, "Wow, man, the economy in the housing market was in such a mess." They say that it's about a factor of 10 worse now. The stock market is that could create a big problem for our economy. So I don't know. It's a good watch if you hadn't seen it. Yeah, it says Electric Ways says, I've been in a few big short squeezes the last year. Don't sell everything up front. Save some to ride towards the peak. I agree. And Electric, I was maybe I didn't get that across. I was just saying, make your your brackets and get some. At the you can even have a small percentage at the beginning and a small at the end. I think that's I'll probably do 10 or 15% right there at the beginning, and 10 or 15 at the end, and then or maybe even a little less, 10, and then maybe 20, 20, 20, 20, and 10, something like that. So, but I think that's the way to go, and then also preparing for if this thing doesn't do a straight shot and it goes up some and starts trading sideways and then going up and down. I think we need a plan for that also, or at least be aware of that. And a lot of that'll be learned from technical analysis, and you might want to watch stations or channels at that time. Hopefully, I'll be up to speed on that too. So. Here's Seabus again. Good as always. Attention to your content. Yeah, she hopes the squeeze arrives soon and all this bad dream ends. Hopefully, it'll be turned in from a nightmare to one of the best dreams you had. So, so good. And I hope that I'm going to read real quick a few more, and then I have to go. But I hope this isn't maybe this will just be the beginning. We can continue talking. I'll try to read almost every one of these that I can, and then we'll have somewhere at least we can come to. I'm hoping daily to discuss this. And if you guys have any questions after this that you think about, like I said, I have trouble sleeping at night lately, and And feel free to email. It's Captain J Morgan 2021 at gmail.com. And I try to get back to as many as I can. Not that I have that many, but I think I've gotten back to everybody. But the more that that they come in, it might be harder. I I do think Big Ghost of Judah tried. I've got my last bracket's going to be up there. J Dog the Silverback, exactly the Big Short, but also margin call. So is this going to get too big for you to read, everyone? Man, that would be, in a way, that'd be nice because I feel like I'm making a difference. And I know too that I'm half blind. I started having eye problems last year. I'll try to figure out where I can see this better. Sorry, I have to get so close to the screen. Well, thank you guys very much. If there's anything you'd like me to research or to discuss, feel free to email me. Also, one day when after you guys make all your money, we'll hopefully I started the channel to do construction and real estate videos. Maybe I'll get around to one day. I did film a few from some houses that I was selling and building. That's been a while back. That's it. Thank you very much. This is James Morgan, Captain J Morgan. My email, captainjmorgan2021 at gmail.com. Again, thank you guys so much. Appreciate all your comments. And well, let's do this again tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a set time. And I don't know, I guess if you do notifications, I'm gonna ask my nephew too how I can set the notification, so I'll notify you guys when it's going to be. But probably sometime between 4 and 6, 4 and 6:30, something like that. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, James Morgan. Appreciate every one of you. Hang in there, and AMC to the moon.